on his stomach naked.
I wanted to talk about this execution in Florida, man, because here in California, we don't really deal with executions, even though we do. We live in an execution state. We live in a state that supports the death penalty but doesn't implement it. I've been hearing a lot of people still messing up them words, Munchie.
Me too.
Implement. The state of California does not implement the death penalty because the governor, what's his name?
Newsom.
Governor Newsom. Governor Newsom is anti-death penalty, so you'll never get an execution under his watch. But the state of Florida is like Texas. Texas and Florida probably has the record for executions, and they're probably going to execute, or probably already have executed, a brother named Michael Bell. He is the 8th person to be executed this year alone. Basically, they're averaging one a month at this point. We're only in July, and they got a 9th one that's going to be executed before the end of the month. So 9 executions in 7 months.
The state of Florida is killing more than the Bloods and Crips.
And let me see here.
It's crazy.
I got a story here. I got a quick little clip on what's going on with, let's see here, Michael Bell. Here we go.
The state of Florida is set to execute Duval County inmate Michael Bernard Bell. Bell was sentenced to death for shooting and killing 2 people outside of a Moncrief bar. Prosecutors called it a revenge killing.
If Bell's execution is carried out, he'll become the 8th inmate put to death in Florida this year. News4JAX anchor Ashley Harding takes a closer look at capital punishment and new changes we're seeing in Florida.
Michael Bell is set to die Tuesday for the 1993 murder of 2 people outside the Moncrief Liquors and Lounge. Prosecutors said he used an AK-47 in the attack.
Gunman fired round after round into this car where Tamika Smith was sitting with 23-year-old Jimmy West.
This is video from our News4JAX archives of that case. If Bell's execution goes on as planned, his death would match records set in 1984 and 2014. Governor Ron DeSantis has been signing death warrants at a faster rate than previous years.
I commend Governor DeSantis for doing that. It's about time, quite frankly.
Veteran prosecutor Bernie De La Rianda has handled dozens of death penalty cases. He points to the many years of appeals and delays, but says in his career, victims' families have overwhelmingly been in support.
They just want justice. Some of it is probably retribution, but quite frankly, most of it is because they have suffered and they continue to suffer. And some of their arguments are from victims' family is, why does this guy deserve to live? And why do we have to pay for him to stay there?
We can't have a death penalty without a lengthy appeals process, especially in a state like Florida where we get it wrong so much.
I also talked to Maria De Liberato with Floridians for Alternatives to the Death Penalty. She, too, is an attorney, and her group has protested executions for years.
In the Sunshine State, lethal injection is the primary method for execution. But House Bill 903, which took effect earlier in July, calls for expansion of the methods to include anything not deemed unconstitutional. Maria De Liberato tells me she has concerns.
So that could certainly open the door for Florida to execute via nitrogen gas, via firing squad, hanging, beheading. I mean, really, the possibilities are endless.
De Liberato also points to stats which say 30 death row inmates have been exonerated and released in Florida since 1973. I asked De La Rianda about this, who points to the advancements in science and technology, proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
I think that argument is not a valid one overall, but I'm happy to argue with a particular case. And if there's a case that the person's innocent, then he should be let out. But this fear that, no, somebody is innocent, I don't think that's realistic.
All right. Bro's talking like a prosecutor over there.
So imagine like having a conversation like, yeah, I'm supposed to die Tuesday. That's crazy.
Yeah. And, that's where the serial killer, Ted Bundy, he went to Florida deliberately. He's not a Floridian. He was killing people, I think, in Colorado or some other state. And he went to a death penalty state and started doing the same thing. And eventually, I think Ted Bundy got executed in Florida.
One of the more bizarre chapters in recent American criminal history has come to an end. The end for Ted Bundy, a 42-year-old killer who left a trail of at least 20 murders from one end of the country to the other, came in the electric chair of Florida State Prison, an execution ordered after state and federal appeals were exhausted, an execution that set off cheering from those who had called for Bundy's death. Bundy, with his head shaven and his feet bare, was escorted to the chair by 2 guards. He appeared to be composed and at times even smiled. Just hours before, he told James Dobson, a radio show host, he felt great remorse and his crime should be a warning of the dangers of pornography.
I deserve certainly the most extreme punishment society has, and I think society deserves to be protected from me and from others like me, that's for sure. Each time I'd harm someone, each time I'd kill someone, there'd be an enormous amount, especially at first, enormous amount of horror, guilt, remorse afterwards.
An eyewitness later described Bundy's last moments of life.
He made eye contact. I guess it was the way he carried and acted himself. He made eye contact with people in the front row. You know, he spoke to them. He was cognizant of what was going on about him. He made reference to his loved ones and to his family when he was saying his last words.
The hearse carrying Bundy moved from the prison past a group of cheering spectators who had waited for Bundy to die, and some said Bundy should have suffered more than he did.
Ted Bundy is dead.
Ted Bundy was executed for the murder of a 12-year-old girl in Florida back in 1978. Over the past few days before his death, he confessed to the brutal murders of 20 women in 4 states.
But yeah, Michael Bell committed a double homicide back in 1993, and it's taken all this time to do it. Hey, if we had a governor like Governor DeSantis in California.
That's a broad. Rhonda.
What's that?
Her name is Rhonda DeSantis?
No, Governor DeSantis. That's a guy.
No, the first name is Rhonda.
No, Governor DeSantis' first name. No, this guy's always on. He's a Trump.
What's his first name?
I don't. Let me see. I'll get it.
Man, I heard Rhonda, bro. Rhonda DeSantis.
No, there was a lot of similar sounding names in that story. Ron.
Oh, Ron.
He's a Trump guy.
I'm about to say Rhonda cold, bro. Who's f***ing her? I was like, it's a woman that cold?
Look, if California had a governor like DeSantis, Lil Fee would have been executed already.
Well, some people that prefer to go on death row because you get more shots out of appeal, and then you got them people that come and want to work on your case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you get a certain number of appeals, and then they're exhausted. It's over.
Yeah.
Like Lil Fee has no more appeals. Neither does I think Ace Capone from VNG. He would have been executed if we had a governor like DeSantis. Also, the 2 brothers from Raymond Avenue.
Tretch, another dude.
That's Michael Champion, and I think it's Tretch and Evil.
Yeah.
They would have been executed. We would have had at least, in the last 20 years, 10 executions of people from LA's streets.
Walk them home big time.
But fortunately, we do not have a governor like DeSantis.
Unfortunately?
I said fortunately, we don't.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's
I'm anti
accident.
No, I'm anti-death penalty. I'm surprised when it went up it was on the ballot about 6-7 years ago. It won. They were going to abolish the death penalty here in California. So that lets you know California is not as liberal as a lot of people think it is.